a bit higher up, probably, yeah, in that direction. Definitely nothing like this. No desire to worry. In Moscow, it was scorching over 40 degrees, and now there's hail, damn it.
On the 13th of July, a hurricane swept through the center of Moscow. After the heat, Moscow was flooded. People float along MKAD to Patriarshi Ponds in their own flood. Muscovites are screaming. There's already a whole scene happening at the Patriarshi Ponds, and a guy with a cigarette is drowning in the downpour. And now, this.
What is this? It was scorching hot in Moscow, over 40 degrees, and now there's hail, damn it.
This weekend, the roof of the Moscow medical complex was torn off, trees are lying everywhere. It just hit really hard, yeah? The roads are completely flooded and intense lightning is striking the very tall Ostankino Tower, causing a dramatic scene. This isn't just heat anymore, it's payback. The downpour and flood are destroying cars, wiping Muscovites off the face of the earth. In just one day, the capital got 25% of the monthly rainfall. The White Stone City is going underwater. And this is just the beginning.
Clap for the soldiers. Now that's a crab. Now that's a really impressive tree. Now that's like something.
Something! This is essential! No, friends, I'll show you everything. We've gathered the main videos from the scene, from eyewitness statements. You'll hear only verified facts, without Kremlin censorship. I'm Dasha, and you're on my YouTube channel where we call things by their real names. Like, comment, subscribe, and let's get started. This isn't Vietnam or the tropics, this is the center of Moscow, and it literally went underwater. And here's a dangerous attraction in the Moscow region. Moscow is in agony on day, and the city is no longer the same. Against the backdrop of the downpour, the roofs of the Moscow medical complex were torn off. The video was filmed by eyewitnesses. Metal structures crashed down with a loud noise. Followers are warning, watch your head. According to the Ministry of Emergency Situations in Moscow and the Moscow region, there are dozens of fallen trees, flooded roads, overturned garages, and power outages.
And on one side and the other,
on the MKAD, cars are floating, people are pushing them by hand.
oh my god!
Probably higher up there, yeah, in that direction. There's a little hill going up there. Let's get out because of the flood.
On Patriarshi, it's got its own vibe. A guy is calmly smoking under a wall of rain. And just this morning, on Saturday, Muscovites were basking on the beaches. It was plus 34.6 degrees, hotter than in Hanoi.
They meticulously decided absolutely everything here before you. Just like this, roughly speaking, in a comprehensive manner.
Now there's hail. The wind is 20 meters per second and cold waves of water. At Grandpa's house in New Moscow, there was hail.
In Moscow it was scorching hot, over 40 degrees. And now the city is heading to the Ostankino
Tower. Lightning struck several times. The video is already all over the internet. Children in Misalova are running barefoot on the hail. Tourist season on the Black Sea. Number, a hurricane attraction in the Moscow region. Meanwhile, the rain doesn't stop. In one day, 25% of the monthly precipitation fell. City services reported colder weather and more showers are ahead. The White Stone City is bursting at the seams. What is this? Climate collapse, prophecy, or nature's retribution?
They serve to provide accessibility for the hearing impaired, translate foreign language content, and aid in language learning, making content understandable and enjoyable for a wider audience.
Cars were floating from one side and the other, drifting along. remarkable. Now, this particular situation is certainly going to be much more interesting and engaging.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine Today. Join us now.
Friends, thank you for being with us. Support this video with a like, comment, and subscription. We work for an audience all over the world so that they know the truth about Russian aggression, about Russia's war against Ukraine. That's why every like, every comment, and every subscription from you is priceless. There are already more than 700,000 of us, and we are moving toward a million people who support Ukraine beyond the side of the light. And now, take a look at how Kremlin propaganda tries to hide information. Compare their lies to our reality.
No one ever fought for the family, no one ever had to. Because family was everywhere, family was ubiquitous, indestructible, large and so on. But today from here, our Russian foolishness was born. As if to say, some will die and women will give birth to others. We'll just overwhelm them with numbers or something like that. But now we've reached a time when women won't give birth to anyone anymore. They become weak, cowardly, immoral, and don't want to have children. And we won't overwhelm anyone with number size. If it comes down to overwhelming with numbers, then India and China could overwhelm all of us. Even if you gave each of them just half a head, they would definitely overwhelm us with heads. But we can't, we are disappearing, our numbers are shrinking, so we need to preserve our people. In other words, there is such a thing as the practice of preserving the nation, meaning we need to take care of our people. We need to protect our people from drug addiction, from dying behind the wheel while drunk, protect our people from alcoholism, protect them from senseless deaths, like what happens among young people, various thrill seekers, risk their lives and die for nothing. It would be better if they went to the front and died there as soldiers with weapons in their hands.
I just arrived from Brest this morning. I came straight from the field. I was at the commemorative events marking the beginning of the Great Patriotic War at the Brest Fortress. And let me tell you this, I spoke with, well, I won't say with whom, how, or why. The Poles are currently heavily reinforcing the border. And it's absolutely clear why that's happening. They've made a mess here is the key word. They've made a mess. They've made a mess. If they haven't, then they deserve to get hit on the head. They should, and they understand perfectly well that sooner or later they're going to get hit on the head. No matter how many mines they lay all along the borders, and no matter what they do, the time will come. I'm more than sure of it. And they will get hit on the head.
This is actually the first war we're fighting without evacuating the population. How is that even possible? When there are troops stationed in the cities, and there's always some informant who'll send out the coordinates, and then we'll be burying heroes.
For us, air defense has become a way of life. And when you read books about the Great Patriotic War, so many books, songs and paintings were created. That's where it penetrates so deeply into every corner and some hidden reserves get exhausted. Here, for us, the people living near the border have faced severe trials. One of the girls, an artist, started painting a Shintine Scorpion on S-400 missile fragments. But that's the body, that's the cover exactly right. It's the cover that falls off when the missiles are launched, and it has probably become a symbol. On one hand, it's what protects us, and on the other, it's hope. It is not just that it is reliable, the confidence of an imminent victory, it is in the soul of each of us. So, to be honest, I wanted to convey this from the bottom of my heart. Thanks a whole lot. Thank you very, very much. Pass it on to the altar. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Belgorod, Minsk. Thank you very much indeed for everything.
And Trump decided that he's a king? Yes, and you will be the queen of the world, or what? Yes, it's all right. Suddenly, it happened. And look at how beautifully they walk there, how he spins around. Trump, yeah, there are sanctions, I'm considering them, not considering them. The main thing is, they really don't like it. Even started speaking somewhat rudely. Before our eyes, Trump is undergoing Bidenization. Trump, from the position of being the only one who can talk to Putin, he's turning into yet another version of Biden. And by doing so, does he seriously think he can just talk down to us now and we'll obey? He still hasn't understood anything. He doesn't get that we act in accordance with our national interests. If Trump doesn't like that, it just shows that he still hasn't understood anything about Russia. So he's offering us terms that don't align with our own views about what is good for us and why should we do Trump any favors. Really, just the idea why on earth should we do anything for Trump? To please him?
Sometimes you listen to Trump, yes, but when you look at his actions, it's basically like Biden. Why is that? Because everything is contradictory. On Monday, I won't give it. On Tuesday, I will, missiles, weapons, and so on. And it feels like he has something, a bit of that Odessa vibe. When journalists ask him a question, a straightforward yes or no, he might just answer maybe. And what that maybe means is never really clear.
Just look at how many cities we've taken in these 3.5 years. It's laughable. Then 3.5 years, 3.5 years. And I maintain, this is my opinion, that there are over 1 million casualties, killed, missing, and wounded, including those who died in hospitals.
There is Russia. If Russia so much as raises an eyebrow for a second, remember, we are Azerbaijan's third largest trading partner. And I want to remind you how much money is transferred from Russia to Azerbaijan, not the other way around. Or consider the 300 kilometers of shared border. And when you read what some allow themselves to say and watch what is said on national television do, you want to go to war with certain countries. There have already been significant and considerable problems because of this particular situation, which some individuals naively thought they could easily get away with, and then subsequently and quite bitterly regretted it deeply. That's why I believe that the activities of British and Turkish intelligence services in Azerbaijan aimed at destabilization will ultimately lead to only one thing: unimaginable losses and tragedy. For the sensible people of Azerbaijan,
there are therefore all sorts of considerations, all sorts of circumstances, there are internal considerations, internal policies. But I'm not talking about our domestic politics, but about our neighbors. Well, it's sad and sorrowful. What will this lead to? It doesn't lead to anything good. Well, at the very least, to serious economic losses. Well, especially if Russia holds, well, like in the case of Azerbaijan, the third place in terms of trade turnover. And as you understand, we don't supply oil and gas to Azerbaijan, but let's say products with higher added value. That's all. That's the whole picture. I thought, well, maybe I'm really missing something. Maybe I don't know the region's history well enough. So I went and looked up the history of the so-called Great Azerbaijan, the one supposedly interrupted by the military intervention of the Russian Empire. I couldn't find it. There was no Azerbaijan at all. And in fact, I couldn't even find such an ethnicity as Azerbaijani. That is, this very ethnicity, which we now know as Azerbaijanis with, all due respect apparently was also invented by the Soviet authorities.
With all due respect to Azerbaijan, its history and traditions, if Russia so much as raises an eyebrow for a moment after all, we are Azerbaijan's third largest trading partner. And I want to remind you of the amount of money that is transferred from Russia to Azerbaijan, not from Azerbaijan to Russia. And then, apparently, the situation could change dramatically. Is that exactly what they're counting on? Or, considering the 300 kilometers of border and seeing what some people allow themselves to say, and watching what is said on central television, do you want to go to war? I'm sure that no person in their right mind living in Azerbaijan would ever go that far.
Friends, thank you for being with us. Please like this video and support my content. Ukraine will definitely win. Glory to Ukraine! Glory to the heroes.